everyone. Welcome to the Truth Table episode 22, season 2. And we got quite an interesting show. We're going to talk about the Bondi Beach with a couple of military men who love their country, who serve their country, and been on my show multiple times. Now, my guest on Thursday, it's going to be an interesting show. John Zotinia is going to be on the Truth Table this Thursday at 2 p.m. And he was on the Truth Table not long ago, November 23rd. I'm not sure which episode it was, but he was texted by Donald Trump during our show. So I don't know how I feel about Donald Trump watching the Truth Table. I don't know how to feel about that. I guess I'm honored because I am coming from a place of love and not a place of hate. I'm not coming from a place of division. I want to unify. And having Donald Trump's attention, it is a little unnerving because I would think he has better things to do than watch my little podcast. But I guess I'm humbled and honored. The music is very loud, yes. I will stop the music because thank you for letting me know. Yes, do let me know if I'm too loud, too quiet, because I just don't know. I don't usually use earphones. But my guest today is Selgovae, Pecht, and John Wick. And I look forward to having a conversation with both of them after this. It is Monday, December 15th, 2025. We're merely 4 days from 3i Atlas to be at its closest point. That I am looking forward to and not looking forward to. Because we don't know what that is. We don't know if this is a false flag, that it's a hologram. I mean, there's so many potential explanations for what it could be. And we've been lied to so much, it's hard to believe anything anymore. But one thing that's important is that that we stay in a positive way of thinking as much as possible, because we are being bombarded by negativity and we don't want to be negative. We want to rise you up. It's hard not to be negative with negative things happening. There's really no getting around that. So I will do my best to try to keep a positive, uplifting messages to bring hope instead of, the alternative. So this is the Japanese. It might not be real, but it's supposed to be a Japanese capture of this 3i Atlas. So we don't know what the heck is going on here. Yep. And that's it. So I don't know what to think of that. I don't know what to think about the news. I found out Donald was watching the podcast. That just kind of freaks me out a little bit. But, you know, main thing we're facing right now. Oh, it looks like I stopped my share. Here, let me get this back in here. No, this is fairly new, so it is new information, a new false flag perhaps. I don't know what to think of it, but this guy was obviously also at the October 7th Israel thing, but his name is Arsen Ostrovsky, and he's not just some guy at Bondi Beach. He's the CEO of International Legal Forum, an Israel-based lawfare shop coordinating lawyers worldwide to crush any delegitimiz- oh my goodness, delegitimization of Israel. He's a senior figure at Mizgav, Institute for National Security and Zionist Strategy, a hardline security political think tank. He spent years operating out of Israel, then suddenly moves back to Australia and within weeks becomes the bloody poster boy of the Bondi shooting, instantly framed as evidence of an explosion of anti-Semitism. So this is what they're running with, and I've got the right guys for the moment. Please welcome John Wick and Selgovae Pecht. Thank you for coming back, gentlemen. It's good to have you. So what do you think
for
of
having
this,
us.
Selgovae? What comes to mind?
Yes, it's news to me, but as soon as it was released, a chat forum that I work in there, I kind of went on there and said right away, I'm reserving any opinion until some more of the twists come out on this.
Yeah.
It's going to be like after Charlie Kirk, right?
Yep.
So I'm just soaking in the entire view before I commit myself to any kind of opinion on it one way or another. I've said on previous shows that I believe that we're being manipulated as a herd into certain directions. I know for my personal opinion, in fact, that there's there's characters within the movement manipulating that energy for a political means and ends that will profit them as individuals. Little care about anything else. So
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I feel the same way. It's a lot of manipulation, but it's also like a
yeah.
mass formation trauma based mind control, brainwashing. Meanwhile, they're in Australia. They already have an anti-Semitism bill written out and ready to go. The ink is drying on it. So, I mean, the timing is impeccable. And, I don't know anyone that's
The very word government.
anti-Semitic. Nobody. And I'm
Yeah,
not
these
really
words, man.
anti
Again,
anything.
we've
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about that word before. Government. Govern is control. Mentis is minds. Right.
Yep.
Semitic. Se means a part. It's not a whole. It's a part. Mit means to send, and ik means of. Representation of. Sent forth.
Hmm.
So if you're a representation is only as close to the whole truth as the author or authority of that representation wants you to be or not. And again, it's through a lens of interpretation that must graft off of a foundational reality.
Right.
So how I guess kind of going full circle on this back and why I'm waiting to see how this evolves is because right now a lot of the language isn't really articulating the situation in a lot of ways, and that causes red flags for me. And then
Yes.
on top of that, people's feelings and their egos get invested in it. And once that happens, it's harder to have a conversation with people on things that are awkward.
Yeah, that's true because opinion's been formed. You know, how do you feel about Donald Trump watching the Truth Table?
It's been invested.
Donald Trump watched the
How
Truth
do I
Table.
feel? Well, hey, that'd be
I don't.
pretty cool. Impressed.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, he could be watching right now, just to get the pulse on the country, because that's what we are. We're
6 degrees
Canadians, and
association. You're in Niagara. I mean,
yeah, I'm really close to the
you've
border.
got some upstate New York viewers, right?
That could be, yes. But Trump, I did not. I think he would have time for this podcast. He might offer
So
you a job when he finds out how amazing you are.
I'm not interested. I want to fade
Yeah.
into obscurity if this ever fucking what I'm getting through. I'm only a small part in the big picture, right? Like
No, I hear you. I want to. Yeah.
it's an interesting nexus point in my story in particular because the link to the nuclear power industry and how much of a hinge pin that is between the two nations and how fragile just by default any high risk industry, the amount of money that they invest to reassure and convince you that they're doing everything safe and you can sleep easy at night,
Sure.
it is not chump change
Mm-hmm.
at all. And there's a lot of stuff that, like, once you embellish something to a certain point, you lose all standing credibility, period.
No, that's true.
And
And
that's what you have to fight for, is that credibility.
thank you for watching, Chloe. It's Cleo. Oh my God, I called you Chloe again. Oh my God, I'm such a bad friend. Cleo, I love you. Thank you for joining us. It's awesome to have people that care about their country, and we do. We really do care about our country, and I'm looking for answers with hope. You know, I have hopium, and I know that it's not just hope and prayer that's going to do this, but it's going to be solutions and people and ideas. You can't beat a good idea with negativity. You know, we can do it because there's a lot of good people in this country. You know, there are bad people, of course, but there are a lot of good people. Majority of people I know, and all the people on my show, I think are good people. You know, with good intent. There could be one or two that don't, but I didn't see it, and the message that they leave is good, and it gives me hope that we have, you know, the right people in this country to fix this. And I think you're one of those people. I really do, Selgovae. I don't know if I know you probably don't like my compliments, but they're sincere. You know, I really believe in you, and I would like to be in obscurity too. But they're spraying glyphosate in the forest, so off grid isn't even safe anymore. So we're gonna have to do something. Welcome, Robbie.
Consider me oddball.
I don't know. I just know you have a place. You know, I think you could be so valuable in so many ways, even if it's on a teaching spectrum where you're teaching about the flag and the courtroom and what it means and the meaning. Like in a teaching capacity, I think you would just be amazing. Okay, John, what do you think
Hello.
about
So a
this
lot of stuff that I
bonding
talk about,
age?
though,
Let's get. Yep. Go ahead.
there's a lag between us.
Where you want
Sorry,
to go?
a lot of this stuff. A lot of the stuff that I speak to about is relevant at the first point of contact. And once you find yourself kind of sucked in a certain degree, you have to change your approach, right? But sorry.
No, that's okay. Just wanted to see if John had any
No,
input on this event that
I didn't
happened.
even check the news. Usually, when it's overseas like that, by the time they reach us and the truth comes out, we'll never hear it. So I just don't look at those stories. I don't know anybody down in that part of the world, and
Mhm.
if I don't have any source that I could trust to tell me what's happened down there and what's not, then
Well, I had like a
I just
little hate thing going with Rob Reiner, who was sadly killed with his wife by their son. Um, he was on that show. I can't remember the show. He was the son. What was it? Sanford and Son? Not Sanford and Son.
All in the Family.
Ma- Was it
All
all?
in the Family.
Yes.
Archie
All
Bunker's
yes.
place.
Yes. Yes. No, we like he was
Oh,
totally
where the
Trump
day.
derangement. Yeah, yeah. He was total Trump derangement syndrome on crack. But I didn't like him. But I still don't like death. And he was killed by his son, but also his wife was killed. So that's very tragic. And that's in the news. If anybody wants to chime in on that one, I was just gonna slip it in and slip right back out. But that's the news today, and I'm hoping we can leave a positive message during the season of false flags. And I do worry about these things. Did either one of you ever encounter a false flag event that you can talk about during your service? I'll go to John. Go ahead,
Not
John.
directly.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. Okay, John, you go.
yeah. Well, I've never been deployed overseas. I've training in and out the country. It's mostly just in. I've been training out of it. So I've seen stuff that are red flag. I've seen some stuff that they don't want to talk about, but most of the time it's just part of the job.
Yeah, and I don't know if are you guys aware of Gordon James Barry Jr. in the National? He was on my show last night.
Yeah, I know
I
Gordon.
did a live with him. Do you know about him, Selgovae?
Yeah, he's come and visited me. He's stayed at my place.
No way.
Hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
we had
great
a
guy.
discussion in the summer about ideas, and we agreed on most, not all, and so
That's quite an accomplishment.
uh, I don't know what that he came and visited me. It was
No, no,
cool,
that
actually.
you
Say
agreed on almost
it was
everything.
great.
No, it's that you agreed on almost everything because
Well,
that's hard to find.
there's like I know where he's trying to go. I just the few
Yes.
things that I don't agree with are fundamentally unravel everything else in a way for me to kind of buy into it at this stage. So
Hmm. I'm not sure, but if you log out and log in, it might get rid of your lag. It might.
I can try. Yeah.
I don't know. You can try it, and I'll let you right back in. I don't know if it's going to solve the problem,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I see this since they had the legislation already in Australia for this anti-Semitic thing. It was perfect to have someone shoot up Jewish people, innocent people.
Most
He,
of it looks staged most of the time. It's
I think
drama,
so.
drama, drama, distraction, diversion, and at the end, we never know the truth. We never know what happened, and it's all over the news. And what else happened in the background, we don't even know.
So Francine, he was talking about Rob Reiner, who was killed. He was. We were just going through the fact that him and his wife were killed by their son, and I'm not generally a news podcast. Generally, I just get one-on-one information on a personal basis, first-hand information from
Hello,
people
Francine.
inside different things, whether it's army, nurses, teachers. But I still can't get over that Donald Trump watches the podcast. I freaked right out. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Get away from me. You're creeping me out, dude.
You're making this reference because somebody has a profile name?
Yeah, someone during a show, John was texted during the show, and he's on Thursday. So we're going to talk about it Thursday because I want to know what Donald Trump said to him during the show. Did he say, tell that Everton to shut up? Or, I mean, what did he say about me? Oh, my God. See, and I wanted low viewership because of these sorts of things. But
Yeah,
look who's
we were
watching.
talking about that, and he just texting, knowing that he is watching. So
Yeah, what the hell are you watching me for? I'm boring.
Interesting.
Yeah, well,
He's just done some releases about the flag in the States, and how important it is.
yeah, that's good. I mean, we're on the same page as him in a lot of different things, I would think. This anti-Semitic thing, that's just, that's racism. If someone robs your house, it doesn't matter if they're Asian or this doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you hate the whole race. It's just that you're a little guarded because that particular race or religion came into your home and violated you. So you don't know if it's a cultural thing or not, but you're just more guarded. That's not hate. That's just self-preservation, and that should never be anti-Semitic. Because I think the Jewish people are victims to Zionism. I think they're the victims here because Zionists don't care about Jews. But this is a cover for the Zionists who are really good at banking and usury and compound interest. But if you go into a courtroom, this is what you want to see. You want to see the flag behind the judge in the rightful position, or the judge isn't following protocol. So you're not being judged properly. He could, judge you incorrectly. He can violate, right?
It's not that the judge isn't following protocol. It's that legislation has been reshaped since 2015 that removes that emblem in a way that nobody's noticed it.
Yeah.
There's an edict from the Treasury Board upon the court that it's not to be used in any manner of interaction. Therefore, it's not relevant in the court. They've pulled it out. And the second that they do that, it's all about the money. The judge gets a discretion to how cases are viewed. So, for example, in the convoy leadership cases, the Emergency Measures Act was called because of finance and economics. Part of the city of Ottawa's claim of offenses is the economic hardship that they allege was put upon them to accommodate it. And this is what manifests the perception of the criminal mischief that they've been charged with. But what they did was lawful. And again, I said it before on this show, if you go through the historic footage of them bantering in the House about this, never is it called an unlawful convoy. It's called an illegal convoy. That's a different dimension of consideration. And they can get away with making that presumption over every single, dare I say it, person that was involved, is because they, by majority, were screaming for freedom. And if you're screaming from freedom, you're speaking from within a capacity. And that house that they're calling it illegal gets to move where the narrowness or broadness of the vessel to which that is. The rules of the house, right? So you were there, people were in spirit, were there for their rights, but their words were expressing freedom. And this is really, it frustrates me how these people that led them weren't aware of that, or if they were aware of it. Because again, your words are used against you. Emergency Measures Act was called over finance. Chrystia Freeland says it. The Prime Minister said it. Everybody, it was about money. You were there for your inherent rights, and they got not only disregarded, but fucking overreach was put on them to accommodate money. And so the emblem that brings recognition to them to stop them from that was removed from the court with intention in a process that started with the 2015 right away searches at the courts. That removes your presumption of innocence by default entering in. So you're purely assessed on tiers of title beyond that point because of that, and you're in a limit. They won't recognize you any other. So then once you're in the courtroom, the bar's been removed, the gate that separates the observers from the actual court. The judge can make a presumption beyond the bar. And the flag's been taken out. That's the last thing that's the emblem of the identity of the nation, all that it's under. That recognition was removed, and instead the seal, which represents commerce, was put up. And that's all about the fucking dollars and cents, man. And that binds the judge, because if the theater of representation, if the representation isn't present, it doesn't bind the judiciary therein. They get to apply a discretion. You don't show up to court, there's a fucking discretion on it. It's made and a warrant's put in, and they go and hunt you down.
That they do.
Now, when the public en masse, because nobody's saying anything about it really, it's considered a consent. It's a consent to the process. Going a level deeper, the interpretation of law, what they're trying to bring in, and it is called legal positivism. And it's about precedent and standing, and basically what it is they can erase the past on selection as they want going forward, because there's no consideration of morality through a lens of legal positivism. This as it's said in that way, legal positivism is a concept and term that was invented late 1700s and then came into our law. So this is in 2014. This is what we practiced, but we had a recognition and a consideration that applied to natural law theory, because it was an essential element to our Constitution, and they cannot fully let it go. They've removed that now, because when 2015, again, they did that. 2016, they drafted the Policy on Communication and Fidelity. Not under Section 2.2 of that set the stage for the removal of the flag. They didn't do it yet, though. In 2018, they repealed Criminal Code 296.1, which is the blasphemy liable and indictable for 2 years, and only because all oaths of trust to the public are to a constitution and crown under God of the King James Version Bible. So that's the interpretation of the standard.
And this is why I have to do about 20 shorts just to get your information into little itty bitty pieces, because you have so much information and it's valuable. And over an hour show, people might lose it. So I make little shorts just to pound what's
But
important. Repeat
it's one
what's
approach
important.
it's one approach of many that take to it, right? So a lawyer hearing what I've said may see a path to take there. However, through their familiar logic of application and process, it's different than how we commonly speak to it. And that's the part that I try to. The number one swordsman in the world is not afraid of the second place swordsman. He's afraid of the one that doesn't know fuck all, because there's no structure to his conduct when he runs at him. There's no logic to it, right? So, yeah. So when I had a conversation with a federal member of parliament a couple of years ago about this, and we've a couple times since 2020. He's now this character isn't a lawyer, but they also would have told me if I was out of bounds in my concept of thinking, only in interest of preventing me from making an ass out of myself on a larger scale than I already have in some people's lens. So, what was said to me by that entity was, you're the first individual that's brought this up in this way, and it was through an expression of like, yeah, you're onto something here, and so you look at that Bill C9 stuff that's going on in the House right now, brilliant. The Conservatives made a brilliant tactical call where they brought up all their mid and backbench MPs and gave them a showcase window to speak to the entire country on this matter, which is the foundation of common sense. And each one of them now gets a cameo on this, etched into the history record of the ether that we have right now. Brilliant. I hope it works, because
Yeah, me too. I hope so too.
they're all playing a time game right now, man.
Yeah.
That approach that they're taking is more about more time to survive and figure out another move, I think, than it is about anchoring any solid position on things.
Well, I mean, the founder of Stop Anti-Semitism made a little speech. She wants anti-Semites hunted down and killed financially, legally, socially, and economically. Google and SEO will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented. When we act, lives change, and anti-Semites learn sometimes for the very first time in their lives and history that targeted Jews will come at a price. Now, this is what she said, and let's just hear it from her own lips, so it's not hearsay.
The Jewish people. Leora?
Tonight, I speak not just about a problem, but an actual fight. A fight that the Jewish community did not choose, but one that we are now fully engaged in, confronting the global explosion of Jew hatred, unleashed since the attacks of 10/7. Stop Anti-Semitism was built for this. For years, we exposed hate, pressured institutions, and delivered consequences. But after 10/7, the scale of threat and the urgency of our mission changed dramatically overnight. Since that day, we have featured more than 1,000 anti-Semites on our platforms. 1,000. Not theorized about them, not quietly documented them, featured them publicly, clearly, and with evidence. The results speak for themselves. Approximately 400 of these Jew haters have faced real consequences, including firings, suspensions, and expulsions. More than 300 of them remain in an active investigatory state across universities, corporations, DEI departments, unions, hospitals, nonprofits, and yes, unfortunately, federal government agencies. And yes, 5 arrests to date tied directly to threats and violence of anti-Semitic conduct we helped expose. This is what accountability looks like. This is what action looks like. This is what pushing back hard looks like against the tidal wave of hate that has consumed the United States and global population. From our founding, Stop Anti-Semitism has operated on one guiding belief. Anti-Semitism thrives when there are no consequences. So we created consequences, a lot of them. We created visibility. We turned the spotlight towards those who targeted on our community, making silence impossible. Campuses where Jewish students were hunted through libraries, where professors glorified Hamas and Hezbollah terrorists, mobs shut down our buildings, and administrators hid under desks. We stepped in. We documented the offenders. We worked with attorneys, lawmakers, and victim families. And we ensured the message was not mistakable. If you target Jewish students, your action will not disappear into the darkness. We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented, again, thanks to Google and SEO. In corporations where DEI leaders smeared Israel, excused Hamas, we pressured CEOs, some resigned, many were terminated. Policies were changed, thankfully, from governmental to art institutions. Online, where anonymous accounts, violent threats, we traced patterns, elevated evidence, and worked with authorities, leading to arrests from Florida, South Carolina, New York, California, and Texas. And we're not slowing down, sadly. Today, Stop Anti-Semitism, I'm proud to say, runs one of the most robust anti-Semitic enforcement operations in the United States, monitoring campuses, digital networks, activist groups, and public officials, documenting incidents in real time and mobilizing millions of people, of allies that are quietly by our side. But the fight is bigger than the exposure, and it's about securing a future where Jewish students can walk across a quad without being screamed at, a future where employers understand that anti-Semitism is not activism, it's bigotry, and it will cause you to lose your job. A future where fact, not propaganda, shapes policy. A future where global institutions, from Google to ChatGPT, from governments to universities to media, finally treats Jew hatred with the seriousness of other minority-targeted hate. To get there, we need 3 things: action, real action as I listed, accountability, relentless vigilance, because anti-Semitism does not take breaks. It doesn't wait for elections. It disappears because we are exhausted and tired. And when I tell you myself and my team are exhausted and tired, that's the least of it. Stop Anti-Semitism has never been more essential, more strategic, or more effective than it is now. But we cannot do this alone. The demand, the volume of tips, the number of investigations, sadly, continues to grow instead of decrease. If we want a safer future for the Jewish people, this is the moment to stand together and act. We have to push harder to make it clear that Jewish safety is a non-negotiable. Tonight, I'm asking you to always be in the fight with us, not just in spirit, but in true action. Participate in calls to action. Write letters to your governmental officials. Speak to the college administrators that are making, if it's not your friends and kids, it's making other community members members feel unsafe. When we act, lives change. And anti-Semites learn, sometimes for the very first time in their lives and history, that targeting Jews will come at a price. And together we can ensure that Jew hatred never goes unanswered again.
So, so what about my fear now, after hearing that threat? Because I believe that was a threat. If you don't like us, we're coming after you.
Well, that's in the
sound
States right
familiar?
now. That's speaking. That's in the States speaking. But I want to speak to a couple things about that broadly. She was standing at a podium, and on the podium it said, Embassy of Israel. Israel's not a state. It's not a landmass. It never was. It was a man. It was a man that he was given another name, and he represent all nations would come from his loins. They're presuming that they control that interpretation supremely. You know, again, I'm going to say, if you're the keeper of the word and you identify, I'm careful with my words because I don't want people to misinterpret how I'm speaking. I'm speaking to a dictional truth. If you call yourself a Jew, you are either lying or ignorant. It's one or the other, because J wasn't invented until 1524 by an Italian named Giorgio Trissino in 1524 in the youth of King Iams, whose name was changed to James. Before 1524, no man, thing, nothing had the letter J associated to it at all. The irony of it all is that how you see the letter J, like a crook, and its representation as the 10th letter of the alphabet, well, it's not that. It goes to Y, and then it goes to fucking I. And so the letter J, so when you go to letter J, consider that I as the individual. Now, its image, like a hook. In the Paleo Hebrew, which is what is interpreted through what we call now the Jewish tongue and lens, but was Hebrew, okay? And we call it Paleo-Semitic. In Paleo-Semitic, what we now call the letter L, which would be spelled E-L, looks like the letter J. And its interpretation is the shepherd's staff, the shepherd's hook. It's interpreted as the shepherd, the leader. It's called the Lamed.
Well, our friend
And that's
Robbie thought we
kind of
were
a
taking-
confusing thing, but it's the way it works, man.
Yep. No, you're right, and I'm glad you said that. You know, this is one of the reasons.
So when this woman stands there and says as the woman stands there in her capacity there in the States and how she's speaking under a landmass that claims that it controls the interpretation of the word, of the Abrahamic words. And this interpretational fight has been going on for thousands of years. It is the so
You know,
it is a
beauty
touchy
is
subject in that
Donald
lens.
Trump. Yeah, it is. It is, and the beauty is Donald Trump might be listening to you and learning something.
I don't know, but I do know that, like, when going back to King James, when that was going on, right? He had his witch hunts in Scotland,
Yeah.
and those witches were healers, and because if somebody can go to another individual in their moment of despair and pain and anguish and be healed, they value that individual more than they do any king. So it's like Big Pharma now. They got to control and limit you. And it's not even necessarily that King James himself decided that's the way it should be. It's more of an agenda that he was born into as a character figurehead of to present it, represent it. The firmament is our words, man. The world, world, rooted to cosmos with a K in the Greek, and it means either unity or order. Unity coagulates. Order divides and separates and puts every aces in their places. There's a triage of priority. You can't have equality and order. So what does the court demand? Order in the court. When he wears a white cube on his Adam's apple, that Adam's apple is allegorical to a crystal. And his white heat of his soul and his will expressed through that, and it comes out in a 12-shade spectrum of order. Red's the top and blue's the bottom. Red, and you fall down to the ground, I come back to you in a couple of days. The part that's closest to Earth is blue and purple. The part that's closest to the heavens, it's a pinkish hue, red. And it's all natural theory, in that it's sort of connected in that way, is how they pull it together. I don't want to get too far into the weeds because I'll lose people. If I get too deep on this subject, the logic that I present up front, that people go, yeah. If I go too far on it, I'll lose them. I don't want to do
too many word salad.
To keep the lens back to your summary rights. I'm not saying like, well, so I'm getting off the subject from this woman talking about Israel. Basically, they've claimed a jurisdiction. They've claimed a control over an interpretation of how you think. And they think they're the only ones that got the code to it. In a way, they're right. We've forgotten it. Our Bible says in 4:6, you'll be forget. So, like, when I read Jonathan's transcript,
I'm not going to fall for it.
Example.
I'm going to deny it. I'm going to deny that there's any anti-Semitism in my world that I know of.
A what?
What I do see, I don't any anti-Semitism. I just don't. I see anti-white everywhere. White Christians. All over the place. In Europe, all over Europe. In Syria.
What's the difference between a Semite and a Jew? Why is there multiple terms for this? What's a Semite and what's a Jew?
Yeah.
How is a Jew more of a narrower definition than a Semite?
But that's the thing about the word Semite. It's linguistics. It's nothing to do with religion. It has to do. It comes from the Horn of Africa, parts of Asia. It's not a Palestine, Jerusalem thing. It's scattered, like English is scattered, right? It's not a religion. It's a language. It's linguistics. That's what Semitic means. It's like, and they made a game of it. Like everyone's stupid. They're treating us like we're idiots. Go ahead. Sorry for the delay.
The oldest cipherable text recorded historical. The oldest historical ciphered text from which a law code is interpreted from the beginning is out of the Mesopotamia region. Therefore, if that's the oldest we got that we can interpret, that's your first law code. That's your first unity and order. A common sense etched in the fucking stone that people were held to. And if you couldn't read it, it's
Yep. And the rabbinic
and
Talmud.
And that kept that community.
That delay sucks, doesn't it? You don't hear me until after it. I know I hate it when it happens here on my end. But I did want to show another clip. Yeah. Now, the rabbinic Talmudic Jews aren't Jerusalem Jews. You know, they're not the same. They're European, like Poland, Germany. But this is another clip and this is from their words here. This is not my words. So I think it's best to hear from them.
Opposite each other to battle. Maktil chad minayu.
Okay, so he's speaking in
Hebrew, something like that.
Hebrew. The Goyim non-Jews should be so preoccupied with killing each other that they cannot kill us. They should be so occupied with sports that they have no time to plot against us. Okay, I don't know if that's all he says. Maybe he speaks English.
With a wired for sound to hear the crunch of the broken bone.
Oh,
But
he
the more they
does.
pummel it, meaning that Hashem does a chesed, and they're so busy killing each other that they don't kill us. So it's a historical overview of the various wars and battles, world wars, etc. So busy battling each other, they leave us alone. Now, the Moshe Zatzal would say, that's the mile of sports. The guys are so busy in sports, they don't have time to check for the Jews. If they saw boxing, where they pummel and kill each other, instead of pummeling and killing us, go upon them. They have national pastimes, some of them benign, like baseball, some of them a little more dangerous, like football, where they're wired for sound to hear the crunch of the broken bone. But the more they pummel each other, the less they pummel us.
So, I mean, when they speak to each other, they're pretty clear. You know, they're not speaking in riddles. They're telling us exactly their view. Now, our view is my view. I can only speak for myself. I see all mankind as children of God, brothers and sisters. I see one race. I don't see multiple races. I see religions that divide people and lie because they all can't be right if they're all saying something different. So my thrust in life is finding the truth and putting the pieces together, just like Selgovae just did. He let us know Israel's a man. I've been saying that for years now. He's a man, and his sons, his 12 sons, were told, to spread out all across all the continents to make the land holy. So therefore, they made all earth holy by being there. And this was accomplished. That's the Holy Land. You're standing on it right now. It's not in Jerusalem. It's everywhere. So they've been lying to us, and you're not going to get it here. Go ahead.
That rabbi says Goyim. The rabbi says Goyim. Goyim in Hebrew literally means nations.
Yeah, they translate it as non-Jews. Okay. So yeah.
So and the word in the letter, which the first letter is not through the land. A Latin G wasn't invented until 230 BC. So his reference to the letter that he's saying in Goyim is to the Gimel, and that's need to look at this. He's using it in a text that refers to a Gentile, what he refers to as a Gentile. And if you take the word Gentile and break it into its parts and interpret it, Gen means natural. T is the tau. It's the tau. It's the cross. And isle. And isle is a kin. It's like, Israel. Sorry, that's not a good one. I'm trying to think of like isle, an offshoot of kin. So they're not denying connection to them in they're not denying the connection, and it's the interpretation of the words to which where we're getting we're not looking deep enough into it. Look it up right now on the computer. Look up the interpretation of Hebrew for what Goyim is, and it's going to say nation. So when he's speaking in Hebrew and he's in nations, when he says Goyim, so it's like the rest of the world is their enemy. All the other languages are the enemy or subject of their language, of their interpretation of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say it again. In a way, they're correct. In a way. only because I even argue with them about it. And because you can't argue or speak to it or debate about it beyond a couple layers, you're not. And if you're speaking out of order in an order, you won't be recognized and you'll be treated like a bleeding piece of cattle, a farm animal bad in a fucking pen. The word alphabet.
Yeah.
Alpha, which is grafted from the Hebrew Aleph, which is the ox, the bull's head. Which is the house, bullpen. The firmament is the recognition expression of the will that flows by the acts and property that you claim.
Well,
Am I resonating
John,
with anybody here? Anyway?
oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I see like 100 different little small clips of what you said coming in the future, because it is a lot of valuable information. But I think we've been harmed by the fluoride and the aluminum. Made it really difficult for us to uh, absorb a large amount of information. So, John, I know I haven't spoken to you that much, and I invited you here to speak. So I have to ask you: do you feel like you're surrounded by anti-Semitic people?
Oh, I don't even look at that.
Oh, good. That's good, because I don't.
I stay out of politics, religion, and all that
It's
stuff. I,
terrible.
I just mind my own business.
Do you think we can save our country? Do you have hope?
That depends. There's a point of no return is gonna maybe happen. We don't know when, and when that happen, it will depend on people reaction or overreaction or underreaction. And if
Yep.
we don't control the action that create that reaction, it could be a chain reaction, and we don't know.
Yeah,
There's
I
too
do
many
feel.
variable everywhere that we can control. Some of
Yeah.
them we can't even perceive, and we live in a giant psyops with a giant matrix system attacking people, just bullying,
Yeah.
isolating, and it's hard for most people to have any communication because their communication or sabotage or anything, and it's hard to go anywhere. And those who are in charge of those government, those worldwide organization, and they're pushing their agenda. They have resource, manpower, and it's hard to go against that as individual. But the people hold the power, and the power invested in those organizations. They should be subtract somehow and back to the people.
Wow. I can't believe this. We're being AI is talking to us right now. Like first Donald Trump, now AI. Look at this. A Google search string for the word goyim won't fit here with the character limit of YouTube. Is this a person? I don't know. Volunteer community.
Okay, so let me tell you something about that. So Jen is gent. Jen is natural, and the T is the tau, which is the mark, and the ile, primary forms adjectives from the Latin meaning capable of, tending to, or pertaining to. Seen in words like fragile, agile, docile, volatile, and ductile, indicating an ability or susceptibility. So it's a when there's the word Gentile is basically saying a representation of something natural,
Well, that can't be
an
AI
agent,
use.
a title,
Yeah.
in title.
Well, it's a good thing
It's
Palantir
kind of ironic.
controls the AI because otherwise we would never learn anything. So you're right about the point of no return. All the bills show us their intent, whether they're passed or not. It
Yeah.
shows the loopholes they're looking for, the power that they're looking for. the ability to punish speech is a very big problem. So we're definitely at the end game, and they're not going to stop. They'll hide it in a like universal uh, uh, income, basic income is going to be a Trojan horse where everyone's going to see big dollars and think, wow, I could live on this. But then at the same time, everything is going to be more expensive until it means nothing what they're getting. And then it's too late. This is what I see with that universal basic income that they're trying to seduce people with. Also, medically, I see them coming up with things to seduce people to extend your life or to, ensure you never get cancer. They're going to give
Yep.
all kinds of safe and effective promises to
Uh,
go to the next level of transhumanism.
at the same time, if they do push basic income, where's their money going to come from? Are they just going to print it and create inflation, reduce the money or the value of everything that's already out? Because every time you use a credit card, the money is out, then you put it back. It's like printing money. So, or are they just going to print money to give out to the population so they can afford food and that's it? They can't afford vacation. They can't afford go anywhere. They can't afford to leave their 15-minute city or see their friends or family in the next district. We've seen movie where they control everything and nobody want to reach to one of those. The signs are there, but how to counter react and do stuff individual can't do much about it. it have to be uh it have to be more than just that.
Well, I'm honored to have you watching us, volunteer community. I'm also glad to hear that you're not AI. So, yep, that was a real person. I was gonna say you spelled Yule wrong. I mean, you're a bad AI if you said you apostrophe LL. But yes, thank you, thank you. I appreciate anyone who's listening. I really have my faith is so strong that I just believe God will pull in the right people and not the wrong people. And I don't know if Donald Trump is the right person to be watching this show. So please, if you're Donald Trump, please change the channel because I really don't want to become buddies. You're a little bit scary for me, the most powerful man in the world. But I don't think Selgovae is
If
the
you're Donald,
president.
if
He's
you
an
are
army
Donald
guy,
Trump,
you know. So
what did you take in Scotland? What was your
I don't
golf
even
course
know what
really
to
about?
think of that. Like that just totally changed my day and my equilibrium's off now. It's like, holy shit, what is he watching me for? I'm just a little guy. I'm a nobody.
Well, if the truth is out over here and you implement it through the people and it's help getting on the right way. 'Cause, I've been going around in the past couple of years to all those freedom movement, freedom group, and I love those potluck. Bring some food, share a good evening and good conversation. Having people, doctor talking about all those COVID and all those stuff. Having specialists in their domain speaking about everything, and there is good connection everywhere. But those people, they need a voice and they are suppressed. And if the White House does watch and know the truth, what's going at the basic for those peasant people, then it could be a good thing and a good way to have some variable push on the right direction.
Well, I mean, if he calls me up to save this country, I'm in. I'll put it that way. I
I
would
don't want
die
that burden.
for my fellow Canadian. I would die for my fellow Canadian. I just would. This country is worth saving. I grew up here and I met the most amazing people here in this country, and it is worth saving. There's going to have to be a lot of deportation going on, though. A lot of these people do not belong here. We don't poop on our beaches here. This is not acceptable behavior. Go poop where you came from, and we're not a Sharia law country, so stop getting into our politics. We don't want you there. You have the wrong ideas. Sharia law does not fit in the country, doesn't
And
belong in a Christian country.
it's a matter of time before those mass importation and those grassroots Canadian and the native and everybody's been here for many generation. They came here for peace, and now there is mass importation coming here. I'm okay to give them an opportunity to leave warfare and have peace, but when their community start to outgrow those who were there before, and they are pushing like Sharia law over their community and those who were near their community, it's a matter of time before they came and outnumber people and peacefully take over and do what they want because they'll have majority at that point.
Yeah, basically, Canadians aren't racist. We have, Chinatowns and Chinese restaurants, and so we're not anti-China. You
I like
know,
their food.
we may not agree with the country's
We're
way
anti-Christian
of
right
run.
now.
We may not agree with their political ideology, and if that's the case, then we could tell them how we feel, but maybe stop certain practices. I don't think they should have police stations in Canada. I think that's inappropriate. You know, I have Chinese friends that I love, so like I said earlier, there are good and bad in every ideology. So we can't judge any particular. I'm sure there's even, good Zionists. I don't think so if they have nothing but disdain for everyone else. I mean, that's not a good thing. I don't have disdain for anyone except those who harm others. I do have disdain for that. And we're being harmed by our government, our city, our local government, our provincial government. And we're really getting to an end game here. In I hope that we are able to save our country. See, me and Selgovae takes turns, eh? Your turn. He's got a delay though. Um, but I'm for if an immigrant breaks the
Okay.
law, they should be deported. Simple as that. If you come here and cause trouble, you don't belong here. You should not be getting free money, free housing, preferential treatment when you're harming fellow Canadians. Either become a Canadian or leave. All
We
right,
have to be careful
Salvatore.
how we approach those. We have to be
Yes.
careful how we push those solutions in a lot of ways because if you're going to use the law in a balanced way, then it has to be as narrow and correct. The Liberals created a problem. This is pure. Trudeau did this as well,
Yep.
right? You just
You sure
planted the
did.
seed. Son picked up and carried on the game.
He sure did.
And yeah, ideology and identity right now is a huge topic. What is it? Fucking, you got security guards that can't even spit out a fucking English sentence. You think they know your constitution? They know your rights? All these considered sworn officers and whoever's responsible to make sure that they fucking know what they're considered to know aren't fucking doing their job. So with this overreach that becomes normalized. You're a fucking metroid slave before you know it. And only because everything that created your common sense was removed from your schools. Your Lord's Prayer, the scripture before school started, the anthem, everything that reinforced and affirmed an identity of you as a Canadian is now no longer in our education forums, and we now have multiple generations of the future with no connection to the past. Unconscious. So
This person knows you. The one I thought it was an AI. Guy knows you. Salgave has spoken to me on the phone, so I'm not AI yet.
okay.
Cool.
I think I
Yeah,
might know.
he's
I think I might know who that is. don't know if
Selgovae is like a regular. I think he's been on the show 8 to 10 times, maybe more. And I love it when he comes on because it's very educational. Things that are like timely too, that matter now more than ever. Because we're getting railroaded. And we need people like,
in the beginning,
us.
like when I first popped off, against our system in around the matter at the I worked, I took an approach a lot of people did where I was citing actual current citations from law, and I sent them my letter of recognition of capacity to the Governor General in advance, and all registered back, all triplicate. And then the first time I sat in front of a judge, an Ontario Superior Court judge, I asked one question to ensure that they had the documents that I put to the Governor General before them. And I said, do you have all the paperwork that I've said, which I shouldn't have done? And he fumbled through the desk. And so I made a lot of mistakes. And I had to drink through the fire hose of research to try to figure out how what makes no sense is plausibly sensible in the situation that we find ourselves. And that's the answer so that I got. There's a lot of things that we do tacitly that reinforce you as the person before them when they come to you. And all of us are it's not being the person is bad. It's not. It's how you be. I'm not a proponent of this term that people throw around, free man on land and all that. I'm not of that. It's not me. I'm about your rights and the recognition of them in a matter that otherwise that's facilitated these masks, these feelings of obligation for vaccines that you otherwise don't have to take, and all of these other infringements that are a trespass, force, coercion. We weren't taught that any of our veterans served to tolerate that upon public. But you know this, and you try to stir people to want to react, resist. There's a responsibility to make sure that you're not sending fucking meat missiles just to smack against the wall. It's not. That's not good either, man. So what's the most peaceful and impactful way that a mass of people, from a teenager that's in high school to an elderly individual that's just out for their coffee, and go to the court and do the search courtroom, and when as soon as the record, don't interfere in the middle of a session. When a record will break or when you first walk in, politely stand as a body, as a member of the body, not as a subject of the court or somebody that's being judged by the court, but as the public. That you have concerns that the flag is not in the position of honor, known as the pole position, in the court. And as we've said earlier in the show, that position is as you observe the judge to the left on the stage and tight to their shoulder. They're right as they say. And it's important, that position, the pole position, that's the position of command in the whole theater there. It's the position of honor. Mm-hmm. It's vacant. I've seen it in a Gladue court where they put it on the opposite side. I sat at another court where every single faith book you could have a witness box, all of them, even an eagle feather in a cedar box open, and one book in a plastic evidence bag under a microphone on the table, tempting people to pick it up and use it. And the spine of that book said KIV. The court uses classic Latin. Okay? Like when they interpret through to the root, not Pig Latin. There's no J in classic Latin. There's no letter J.
Another thing
So
is they
when
put
you look at that book, they sealed a living body, let all the other ones breathe and be free in the room, and they took one out of all of them, sealed it up in a plastic OPP evidence bag in a separate firmament in the fucking firmament, isolated, smothered. So the time I saw it one other time, and it was about a year before because I had to do it. I had to sign in a document in the court at the clerk's office, and she pulled out. This was during COVID lockdown. She pulled it out, put it on the table, and I looked at it. Like, what do you got a plastic bag? You're protecting the book from people? You tell me you wipe that bag down every time you fucking. There's not even a wet nap around here. What are you doing? So when I got into the court finally, when I finally lawyered up, years into it, I lawyered up, and then I'm beyond the fucking gate, and I'm sitting in the box, and I saw that. Now I'm under representation. I got to behave differently because so I got to communicate through my lawyer, right? I was overwhelmed when I saw it. I wanted to have a fit. Afterwards, after that day in the court, when I got out, I was talking to my Navy intelligence buddy that was with me that I used to work with. And he says, you know, Jay, when you picked up that plastic bag, that judge's face went pale. And the crown put her head in her hands. You did something there. You just didn't see them. The hamster was running on the wheel in your head. And you just flopped it down in disgust. And the judge then started to talk and push the court to start into its process to get past that point. And that's what happened, man. You see, when you're in that position, you're so overwhelmed. It is hard. A step in faith is not easy, man. It's easy to fucking say. But when like the word game is such, it's like a saber fight. It's not like in the movies at all. It's just one little clip and you're fucking dead, man. That's done. And they're fast. They're fucking lightning fast because they're working at it with an objective.
Yes.
Right. I want him to nod when I say, sir, when I point over here and tell him to move over here for his own safety, and he follows my direction, he's under my authority because I can presume that's all they're doing in the moment.
Yep. That's true. Now I'm going to show you a picture of a good friend of mine.
If it's summary in nature, you have a capacity of will there, and it takes faith and confidence to speak into it, and you got to be overwhelmed with panic because they excited and they start in a dialogue that's aggressive. You've raised the optics. The police know how to play those optics against you, and they will smother you in the moment. And you're fucking done. So like that's the other part of the battle is why you need to work hard to keep this to memory is that when you're in that moment, not only can you speak to it, but you can maintain composure. And I know firsthand directly how hard that is. I fucked it up more than I got it right in the moment, honestly. And if that's my situation, the average individual on the thing, they need to actually put more attention into, like come up with a cue card that you're an index card you're writing down. I never do this. I will only do this. I went through the clips because
I want to show you a picture of a friend of mine, and I want you to tell me where he is, what he's doing, if you could talk to the photo, and tell us who that is.
Yeah, that's me in 2000 in Zagan, Bosnia, and we're just getting ready to go out on a regular old route patrol in the vehicle. And before loading up, I got a picture taken and sent back home.
So that gun, what is that gun you're holding?
I was at the time standard issue C7 rifle with C79 Elcan scope, 5.56, and unauthorized sunglasses.
Well, well, thanks for
Yeah,
that.
my job on that tour was I was the driver for call sign Zero Bravo, Task Force Command Headquarters. So basically, we were a relay radio set. We drive forward to a incident with a couple of thinkers in the back of a specialist and an operations officer. That was when I worked in a nuclear facility. That's my team then, A team. I'm the guy standing with the MP5, and we were doing different types of approaches into a structure, from vehicle to the building transition. At that time,
Angeline, my beautiful friend, welcome. And
Yeah.
White Wolf, it's good to see you, brother. Yeah, it's interesting. Every picture has a story. And, it takes courage to do such things. There's a little bit of confidence that comes with having a big gun on you, but there's still always a risk that, you got a sniper on you. So there's always that chance and always that risk. And it
like
really hurts when you know you're fighting for bankers.
the gun's a
instead of
tool
people.
that's the mind that controls the firearm is more lethal than the firearm. The mind that makes the decision whether to employ that piece of equipment or not, that mind has to be more accurate than the rifle in a lot of ways, because you don't want to carry any kind of bad baggage in life, man. I wouldn't want to. And you know what? I'm going to say straight. I've never taken another individual's life. Gratefully, I've been able to diffuse the situation all the time. In that regard, when I worked in that capacity, I haven't impressed the police so much lately. I don't think. At least they don't let me see it. As they shouldn't, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah, can you guys see the comments? I think they can.
Yeah.
They should be able to if they click on the chat.
I can't know.
Okay.
I'm not looking at it.
I could probably add them on the side here. There we go. I don't know. Does that help?
Yeah, I just brought it up on my one. I'm just waiting for it to load. FNC1 is the rifle that. So I got in 1989, and so I went to Wallace Basic Training in Nova Scotia. We were taught on the FNC1. When I went through that training at the time, you went to battle school afterwards. I got different letters and names for it now. It was called Battle School in Wainwright, and we were at that time in 89 introduced at that phase of training to the C1.
Well, that would obviously
Thanks,
be
Rob.
a rifle that's banned. I'm guessing that would be banned in.
Yeah, it is now. It wasn't before the gun ban. It wasn't before the gun ban, but it is now. It's an interesting subject, because again, I talked about the mind with the tool. I could take a restricted firearm, rack around in it, put it on a table, and it will not hurt anybody or anything until an ignorant mind fucks with it.
No, it might hurt your feelings.
And so when people are talking about these fear of assault style rifles, they have a fear of a rifle that has a limited capacity of 5 rounds, which is no big deal. It doesn't, it's 5 rounds, and the round that it shoots is what they're worried about. So if you're worried about a 5.56 bullet more than you are a Remington hunting rifle, a 308 hunting rifle, it's laughable, because that hunting rifle, you won't even hear the shot when it hits you. That bullet's going to reach you before the sound does. So
I'd like to thank you. Robbie wants to thank you for your
yeah,
service.
I noticed that. Thank you, bro. And John served as well. He was a RCDC squadron.
Yeah.
B Squadron.
B? Okay.
Yeah.
Was B, so B was in Gagetown or?
I was in Petawawa for most of it. Then
Okay.
I was single, and they needed a name to go to the school in Gagetown. So when I was from Petawawa, I volunteered to go to Gagetown, and I moved up there, working at the school.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah, I
been
was based
around.
out of Petawawa and 3 RCR from 97 to 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know Petawawa well. I know a lot of the guys up there. Well, I could drop names, but I know Green.
I, I know many of them.
But we could talk about another time about all those names. But yeah,
John is letting his hair grow in, his beard, so eventually his whole face is going to be covered.
let myself go too.
See, I only say that because I'm within shooting distance. So
I won't
I have a
hurt
lot of
you anyway.
courage. But he knows I'm joking. I can't grow a beard, so I got my punishment already. But I'm not sure what we could get into. There's so much that we could talk about, and I'm assuming that you would both be would be willing to come back.
Yeah, of course.
Yep,
Good.
I'm invited. I'll be here. Most likely, I'm disabled and retired. I got not much to do during my day, so if people want to hang out, I'm always available to go everywhere.
Well, I just like informing people, about because where you were, you have a perspective that they wouldn't have, and that is what I think is so valuable. Is all these everyone has a story and a piece of the puzzle, and together, we can help each other. Like iron sharpens iron. We make each other stronger, better, and closer. And I think that's necessary right now. And I'm happy to be a part of that. And I'm glad you both are willing to sit here and give us your time.
I
And
want to say thank you for letting us have platform, because my voice has been silenced for 2023 days since they locked me up on 1st of June 2020. And I've been under attack and under all that system locking me up, slandering me over and over. And it's sometimes I can't even log on the internet. Sometimes I log on the internet and it's not the internet, and sometimes it's fucked up. Thank you for letting us speak.
yeah, well, I mean, even the audience is thankful. See, thank you both, by Robbie.
Yeah,
I
I
I'm
appreciate the opportunity, and also the viewers, and again, weaving through the stuff that I say, right, or that I suggest. I'm not saying everything's that.
are you giving
Petawawa, PET Wawa, pet a Wawa, not Wawa. I saw that in the comments. I was gonna try to find a way I could type that into you.
Yeah, that's our white wolf.
Yeah.
We know him. He was on the show when Donald Trump was watching, so
That one marked you.
yeah. He knows your face now, dude.
Oh. I'm
But
sure
yeah,
if he had to see a files of me, I'm sure we would have seen it or not. Who knows?
and if
Sometime
he
I
learned,
try to be on the radar to be protected, because
yeah,
we never know. Go to Tim Hortons and the cops show up. I end up in jail. I go to the store or I end up in jail. But it's good to know that the brother down south, they keep watching
yeah.
slightly or more.
Every guest I have has value to me. They're all valuable. They all matter. They all have something to share. Selgovae is like a library of information that is valuable in this moment. I know he doesn't think it because he's very humble. Believe it or not, he
He could write down his own
he's
dictionary.
he's just
Oh,
he knows things. He knows things that other people just don't, never heard about. They don't teach it in school. You don't know all these protocols. and now it's more important than ever to know them. So his information is so valuable, and I love his humility. I think that's amazing. But he's also a very strong man. Like, he's not a weak man, and
So I got my
he will stand up for himself, and I love that too. It's important that we honor our toxic masculine men and call it for what it is, real divine masculinity, and get rid of that word toxic, because it's not. It's not toxic at all. It's what
Oh,
built this country.
when people suggest that you are, or in a position that you're in is extreme, remind them that extreme has no meaning or value as a word unless you are inside a limit and pressing. Without being in that limit, the word extreme has no meaning. It's not the same as being trans, which means outside and beyond and opposing.
Yes, outside, exactly.
These words that they apply,
And this is why words matter so much, because
right?
of the power of the word. You
So when
say
they
I
say the
love you
word,
to a
when they,
you say I love you
the
to
word
a
trans,
glass of water and freeze it, it's going to look beautiful. But if you say I hate you to a glass of water, it's going to look distorted and dysfunctional. And I could pull up, I think I've shown it on another show, where it shows you, if you give positive affirmation in words to water, it's affected. And in Buddhism, water is one of the material forces of God. So it is proof that the word that you speak, the God's participating in, has real effect and real meaning and purpose. And that's why words are so important, that you get the right words so you don't do harm. Because you can, even in a well-meaning form, you could use the wrong word and actually do harm and not even realize it.
well, your body's a divine leather flask of water. All right. The word memory, the first part of that word mem, that's Hebrew for water. Ori is the management of it. You're a vessel with a consciousness that's older than the height it sits in. And when you connect to that consciousness and weave through it, you see the common consciousness. And once many people see it at the same time, a good energy with a positive empathy resonates from it. And instead of resisting an order, we repair the actual order that we are in. We fix the cracks, and we find a truer unity. We have to have a moral code. You got to have a fucking moral code. Without that, you have no law. You just got a whole bunch of fucking edicts and rules.
Yep. Yep, you're right.
They're attacking this, and we let it happen. And they, again, go to a court, sit down, wait. As soon as it opens, ask, where's the flag? Why is it not in the position of honor? Now, I've heard that in Nova Scotia it's there. Nobody sent me a picture from Nova Scotia's courtrooms yet, so I can't say it one way or another. Gordon Berry swears up and down it is. I'm not convinced because I haven't seen it with my eyes yet, but all the other ones I have, there's some that play some little games about how they position it. Like Gladue Court in Ontario, they have it in there, but they got it on the wrong side. And Ontario's got a notwithstanding clause going in, and that's why they got their fucking flag there in Gladue Court, because they don't have it in the other courtroom.
And this is a very sneaky way of doing things. It's very underhanded, sneaky way of getting around things.
But it's up to the public to notice it.
Yes.
Let those deceived be so. The maxim is rooted in like a deal that was made between Israel and Esau. Then at the time when the soup deal went down, his name was Jacob. Mm-hmm. Stole a birthright for a bowl of lentil soup, is the way the legend goes, and it's an allegory. However, and the allegory is quite interesting too, right? Because it speaks to whether you were nomadic and moving around with animals, or whether you were static and relying on grains and storing it. Control.
Well, it's important for me to stand by my moral code of honor. You know, it's important for me. Everyone has their own view, but for me, I don't violate the covenant, the Ten Commandments.
There's still
To
the
me,
golden rule. Don't do
it's
to others
easy
what
for
don't do
me.
to yourself.
And when I pray, I never ask for anything because you're telling God what to do, and so the church teaches you to pray wrong. They, you
Oh,
know, they have violated their positions and their own books. It says not to change it 3 times. It says don't change one word. 3 times it says it, and they have how many versions? New International Version, New King James Version. That it goes against the protocols of their own frackin' book that they purport to represent.
what's important we'll go to the King James thing. If you can see through the allegory to the position behind it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But if you are stuck and you can't see past that into the Gnostic past,
right.
you become a representation at that point.
See, this is why
I
we're
think
brothers.
for sure.
This is why we're brothers. We'll always be brothers. It's like we were meant to meet. We were meant to know each other because you complete me. It's like Joker and Batman. I don't want
Who's
to kill
wearing which
you.
suit though?
I don't want to kill you.
I don't
You
want to know.
complete me.
Uh,
It's true though. You were meant to be on this show. There's no doubt in my mind. And I found you. All hell was breaking loose on another podcast, and I thought, this man needs to be heard.
what a
And
show!
he can snap. He can snap. But I'm not going to make you snap because I respect you.
That was with
So
that Dave Bjorkman fella. Yeah, it was
yeah,
a
but
funny what he
they
was.
deserved what they got. I mean, it's not like it was unprovoked.
I don't want to go too deep, and he's not here to defend himself.
No. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about the guest, the other guest. But yeah, I'm just saying that's where I first saw you. And after that, I think I contacted you right away and
Yeah, you
asked
did.
you
Yeah.
to come on the show because I knew how valuable, and then I knew it would take a long time. Like it would take many, many shows to get all that you have to give to humanity. And that's what we're doing. We're offering it to them. Knowledge they will never get anywhere else.
Well, you came in at a really interesting time because I had just finished running a corp gauntlet where I was standing on my own as just me um, for 3 years, only to find out that the whole thing up until that point was biased because of a family relation between the judge and my employer, whose
Oh.
son was the director of my work group facing a federal human rights tribunal. So at that time, a lot of the things that I was speaking to in the court and why I wasn't being listened to and what I was taught wasn't making any sense to anybody I was speaking to there. Well, the reason why that was through my lens was fairly because of that bias that was present. And the only reason that was able to take place as it did really was because that emblem wasn't there. And that particular judge was Kathleen Wynne appointed. So
I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I'm pretty sure he came out of the
Oh.
family, out of the Children's Aid Society spectrum as a lawyer too.
But you know what's really crazy is, like my gut kept me away from certain people, like Tamara, and I never even thought, never crossed my mind to contact her. She's not even a friend. I never friend requested her.
I got no
Yet,
interest in knowing her, none, zero.
and
Big fuck.
unfortunately, most of my friends are friends with her and just are swooned by her. But my gut, I trust my gut way more than my own heart or my own head. My gut is like my connection to source, you know, like it never lies to me. And I trust it. I trust it completely. But yeah, like Dave Bjorkman, right away, you know, he was supposed to be on my show, and I did not feel good about it. So I never contacted him again. So I'm glad I'm on the right side of history, and I want to stay on that side. I don't want to promote someone that's lying to us, you know. I want to empower people.
Some
And
people
words.
like, lie is a powerful word because I don't think all people are sincerely like maybe lying in some
I
cases. I think some people think they're doing the right thing, and their plan
yeah.
thought process only takes them so far, and they're not considering all of the countermeasures they're going to face. And
Again, you're right because I've said that too. You know, I want the truth. I'm seeking the truth, but I may be speaking generational lies that I've been told my grandmother, and their grandparents. You know, like it could be lies passed through generations that nobody found out about. So, I mean, I have to deal with that too, and sometimes I have to dig very deep into, you know, even original Hebrew text of the Bible. You know, you look at the stones and they're missing huge chunks of pieces, and that information shouldn't be filled in by anybody. If it's missing, it should show that it's missing. If there's a part of a sentence that's missing, you don't fill it in with what you like. You know, it's
volunteer community asked a
incomplete.
question
Yeah.
about the Supreme Court.
Okay, here we go. Does
So
this
it depends on the capacity you choose, hopefully intentionally or not, when you're there. If you're going there in a capacity, so it's a summary matter, and you want to try to talk your way out of it in the sense that it just doesn't apply to you because they made a presumption. I wouldn't wear any of your accoutrement or buttons, whistles, or title. No title. You can't go in and title and spit out a title and expect the capacity of rights that because you're locked into you're already locked into a default set. So, but if and again, participation is important. How you participate. So if it's something that you know, it's probably smart that you actually lawyer up and do that because you already know you can't carry the ball at distance and you can't afford to fucking resist it. It's nobody's coming out of the woodwork to help you, man. You got to make a decision, and so that you go in that type of process. But it's more about knowing whether you're doing something that's summary or indictable. Did you rob a bank? Yeah, put on your medals, put on every fucking thing that'll save your ass in there, and get a lawyer. You fucked up. You shouldn't have thought you could get away with that. Were you doing a lawful protest and they came in and arrested you? Well, you know what? If you approached and interacted with the officer in the moment correctly, and you find yourself before a JP, you should be able to talk yourself out of that situation. You don't want any fancy frills hanging off your body or anything like that, or speaking in title at all. And it's a complex issue when you talk about speaking in title because even your name, man, like so. If you use your last name, you that's a collective. You are not your last name. Like it's not yours inherently, only you. Many people, it's part of a collective association. And so when you speak in the terms through your family name, you speak to a capacity of participation. Your awareness of how you communicate that is important. You want to demonstrate that you have the awareness to participate or not in a capacity. So there's a lot of things that they do beyond that. Date of birth is not the same as date born. When you sign your name in the representation, that's you in representation and contract. You sign your name, that's you're in. Mm-hmm. There's elements to signing your name that allow you an argument out. Often they used to show it in the old cartoons when they would sign here, son, and the guy would sign a contract and he'd stab the paper with his pen at the end. That stab is like crossing your fingers. It's a cheeky little thing where you put a vowel that's to be presumed above the first letter of your name.
Huh.
J has a dot, right? And so when it shows a lowercase application, which is the equivalent of what we call today a dead naming.
Hmm.
If you go to a bank, whenever a bank wants you to sign paperwork, on your own, go with intention, bring a red pen. And when they say, yeah, just sign here, pull out the red pen and sign. And they're going to, oh, wait a minute. Here's a pen. They won't let you, they can't let you sign a red. Like, and have the expectations from you that they would have if you signed in blue. So signing in red out on a matter in the police station is a move that people can do. They may not let you, but if you ask and you've mustered an attempt to it and then you've been denied, you have an argument potentially if you can find a lawyer that's going to go there for you. That's another thing. Because if you're just not listening to it all, then you got to go through a lawyer, and then the lawyer possesses you and carries you through the system. Finding the lawyer that actually resonates with you, and that's not easy to do. They're trying to hold the system together too.
Mm.
You work for the Bar Association.
Yeah, it's an order that's gotten out of order, is what it is. All right, it's always been corrupt. So since Sisames was caught by Cambyses being corrupt in court and taking side deals, and his punishment, it's famous. They flayed the skin off him alive, and then they tanned the hide and made the chair out of it. And he got one wish, and that was to make his son take his position, Otan. And Otan ended up sitting in the leather of his dad's on his dad's ass when he made judgment thereafter as a reminder.
Well,
We forgot.
on that note, I am going to make about 20,000 shorts to collect and summarize and minimize each message, because they're all valuable, and I think it resonates better with people in shorter spurts. But I want to thank you both for coming on this episode. I appreciate you both very much. Any final words before we sign off today?
Thanks for listening to me.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for having us.
Yes, great guys. I love these guys. I will definitely have them on again. But there was videotape of me driving down the street. I don't know who got this, but I was caught violating some traffic laws, and I'll show you right now. I might not be as a good guy as you thought I was. Let's see here. Just kidding. That was Big Bird. You thought he was a good guy, didn't you? Thank you all for joining me. I like to leave on a light note because it gets heavy here. Because a lot is going on, and it's going very fast. A lot of the laws being passed are a demonstration of intent. And it's, there's a big rain cloud right over us, just waiting to strike us with lightning. But we're here to hopefully ease your mind and give you positive information and information that empowers you. Thank you so much for joining me, episode 22, season 2. Thursday, we're going to talk to the man who was texted by Donald Trump during season 2, episode 10 of the show, which you can find in our archives. But until then, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great day, and thank you again for joining us on the Truth Table.